Hello everybody and welcome back, and let us start off with the cross-subscripting attack, which is also, I believe, after the SQL injection, one of the most common attacks found on the website applications. So what is the cross-subscripting attack vulnerability? Well, basically, your web browser is interpreter of code, which uses HTML and script code for showing documents including texts, pictures, and videos, for example. Now, what that means that it basically allows users to interact with dynamic elements including search fields, hyperlinks, forms, video, audio controls, and many other. Now, besides the HTML code itself, there is most likely going to be a script code that allows all of that. Now, the most commonly used script code would be the JavaScript, and it is used to make your website, or basically any website on the internet, more dynamic. Now, why am I talking all of this? Well, basically, when user input is used to determine the script code, and the input isn't filtered well enough, you get the cross-subscripting vulnerability. Now, what I mean by that? Well, for example, let's say you have a website, and basically what you when you click on something or when you type something in, a thing pops up on your screen or moves left from right on the website, or basically anything that makes a website more dynamic to you that was caused by you can be used to make the cross-subscripting vulnerability work there. It happens when script code is added in user input field and browser executes it as a code instead of some kind of data. For example, you type in the user input green and your screen turns green. It is basically some kind of interaction with the website. And if you type there a script code and the user input isn't filtered, as in this SQL and command injection and XML injection, it can be read as the script code. As I said, the mostly used script code is the JavaScript, but it can also be some of the other, for example, such as the VBS scripts or any other script code. Now, let me just open LeafPad right here before I continue talking about this, since this is a theoretical part where you need to understand basically what am I saying. So the most common XSS attack or cross-site scripting, so basically XSS is the short for cross-site scripting. The most common attack would include something like this. The attacker which performs the attack, so the attacker that performs the attack, the vulnerable web application, the victim which uses web browser, and some website that attacker wants to, for example, redirect. Let me just make this a proper English. So JavaScript can be used to redirect vulnerable websites, and it is most commonly what you will see. So, for example, when you visit some kind of website, let's say you visit again an online shop for flowers, and you click on a specific link that leads you to that shop, and suddenly you are on some website that sells cars, for example. You will know that it was done with a redirection using, for example, JavaScript. Now, since it is a redirect from flowers to cars, it was most likely a part of the attack from some of the hacker that redirected it to his own website or to someone's website that paid him to do that. That is the most common thing that you will do, and someone as a victim that uses web browser, he basically just goes to the web flower shop and suddenly gets redirected to buy cars, which makes no sense at all, but it happens. Now, in order for us to show a simple example of cross-site scripting, let us just go to our virtual machine. Let me just close it and open the login page once again. I'm not really sure how did I load it with this IP address, since my OS virtual machine is in the .1.9, but it doesn't matter at the moment. So what we want to do from here, we want to go to the DVWA, so then vulnerable web application. Go once again on there, and once you go there, it will lead you to the same page that we were before on, with the SQL injection and command injection. This is taking a little bit slow. Let me just check out the IP address whether I typed the correct one. So I've configured .1.6. It should load it any second right now. Or yeah, I maybe have the burp suit on and the intercept on, of course. I always forget to turn that off. So let us load the page right now. It asks us for username and password. It is admin. Click here on login. Don't save. And what you want to go on is the XSS reflected and XSS stored. Now, the stored XSS is basically, how would I say this, the injected code is saved on the web server or in the database, and application will show it to every user that visits the page. The goal of stored XSS is to infect every visitor of the website. It is the most dangerous type of the XSS. Why is it the most dangerous? Because it is basically an attack on the website itself, and if you send a code, it will be saved on the website and it will send the same page to everyone who requires that website. Now, the reason that is dangerous is because you, as for example a victim, could just be visiting that website and run my JavaScript code, and basically I could exploit your web browser or anything that I've written in that code right there. Or it could be just a simple message that is usually left to let someone know that they're vulnerable to the cross-site scripting attack. Now, the reflected XSS, instead of sending the script to the server as in stored attack, the reflected attack is linked with JavaScript that we send to the victim. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So let us go to the XSS reflected, and as we can see right here, it will ask us what's your name. Now this is the example of interactive web page. So if we type here our name is John and we submit that, you can see that right here it will type hello John. Now we can see the source of the code, which of course on the normal websites you won't be able to see it, but we don't really need it right here. You can test this on any website that you are pen testing to see if it is vulnerable to the cross-site scripting attack, and that would be simply to type here script. Let me just, so this arrow, then script, then you close that arrow, then alert, open parentheses, then apostrophe, and then for example let's type here hello, then close the apostrophe, then close the parentheses, then this arrow once again, slash, and then script, and then close this arrow. So if we submit this, and you will see that it shows us a window that says hello. And as easy as that, we now know that this page is vulnerable to the cross-site scripting attack, since we were able to send a part of JavaScript code and the page interpreted it as the part of the server code. So I'm not really sure. Let me just go right here and back to here. Yeah, it won't be showing us that once again. So that was the example, the easy example of the reflected cross-site scripting attack. Now, you can do that, you can run some malicious code, but let's use the same code once again. And once you click here submit, you can copy this link right here and send it to anyone. So let's just say, for example, this link, and you send that to over an email or over Messenger or any other social media application, and someone clicks on this link, so they go, I will just copy and paste it since I don't have anyone to send it to, and they click the link, you will notice that it will run the same window for them even though they didn't type anything in here. So basically anyone that visits this link will run this JavaScript code within their page. Now this code is not malicious, so it doesn't really do anything, but it could be malicious. For example, it could steal cookies, for example, and hijack a session with that. Now you might say, well, this link right here looks really suspicious, and that is true, but there are lots of websites on the internet that shorten the link or change the link so that you cannot recognize anything in the link itself. So that could be another option. Now that's about it for the reflected cross-site scripting attack, and we will continue with the cross-site scripting in the next lecture. I hope I see you there, and take care. Bye.